check his channel out. Also check out Michigan Farming's channel. It's a nice channel. A lot of cool farming videos on there. So I just wanted to get that straightened out because I had some confusion in my own head whether, you know, what channel is attached to who, and sometimes it's kind of confusing, especially since I put up this email address. I've been getting quite a bit of fan email, quote unquote fan mail, you know. So just a lot of people that either want to talk to me about my tractors or ask questions about theirs or anything like that. I'm always up for good conversation. So anyways, let's get some progress on the road here and see what we got. Alright guys, well, we're all hooked up. We gotta pull on the switch it back into winch mode here. About 40 miles to go, and it's starting to rain, and we're bucking a really heavy wind here, probably 35 to 40 mile an hour winds. So it's quite the chore to fight this, but we'll get her there. Well guys, today is a different day, but we did get this other F20 back here. It's the 27th, I believe, today, but we had to basically drop the trailer off and leave the tractor on the trailer when we got back because it was raining so hard that we just didn't want to work in the pouring rain. So we got this thing unstrapped, unhooked. It's just a matter of yanking it off the trailer and pulling it over by the other F20. So we'll get that done, and as you can see, this tire is pretty well shot. The other one shot as well. I'm not sure if the fronts will hold air or not. I'm guessing I'm guessing they have a little bit of air in them, so hopefully they'll hold air. But this one is in a little bit rougher shape. As you can see, it's got all the lichens and moss growing on it, but I kind of like it that way for now. So, and another advantage is this one has all the oil lines intact, so now I know what the oil lines should look like when they're routed. But the plan is I'm probably going to pull the magnetos off of both of these, and then also I'm going to try to get the head off, but I don't know what all is involved in getting the cylinder heads off of these tractors, so I guess I'll know when I get that far into it. But again, this one's a 38, and the tag, block, and frame all match, so that's good. I might try to get the carburetor off too, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, if I take the head off, I'm going to have to take the manifold and carburetor off anyhow, so we'll see how far I get. It's going to be kind of a process yanking this thing off the trailer with the M by myself. So one thing I did want to point out, this thing does have the belly pump lift all kit, so it's got the kit that actually mounts the belly pump on here. It's not just a makeshift design. It's got the castings and everything that mount the belly pump to the front of the housing on the transmission, so that is kind of cool. I'll probably sell that because I'm never going to use it, first of all. Second of all, the more money I can free up for these projects, the better. So it's also got the full PTO extension kit on it. So under here there's an extension with a step and a PTO shield, so that full kit is on here. It's got the foot brake conversion, so it's got the independent foot brakes, and it does have a lock for both foot brakes as well as the parking brake lock, so that's kind of neat. It's got the casted bracket. There's a part number on this bracket and the hydraulic control lever, so I think this is probably, I'm not sure if this is a cup holder or what this is, but it's got that, and then it's also got this bracket mounted to the steering support shaft, so whatever that may be. It's got the comfort ride seat on it. I think the seat shock is pretty well stuck. It will not move, so let's go ahead and see if we can't get this thing pulled off the trailer, and we'll go from there. So my big concern is I don't want it to slip. I don't want it to slip one way or the other while pulling it off. So we'll see what happens. It's awfully cold out too. It's snowing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see the flakes, but it's snowing right now, as a matter of fact. We woke up to some snow this morning, and up north they got probably another, oh geez, I don't know, another couple inches. Alright guys, well, we got them pulled over into the spot here. Sorry about not getting that on video, but we just kind of got it done in a hurry. So it's cold out here, the metal is cold, it's hard to hang on to, and let's get started on pulling this hood off of here, I guess, for starters. So I sprayed everything down with PB Blaster, and like I said, this is going to be kind of a learning process for me, so I know there's nuts and bolts on here, so we'll just start at the beginning. Gotta use our trays. Now we're getting somewhere. They're not, this one didn't twist off, so that's a good start. Almost lost my bolt though. Go ahead and move this back a little bit. I don't know how long I'm going to be out here for. My fingers are already pretty darn cold. And it looks like I might have to remove this steering shaft just to get this hood bolt out. So, let's see here. Not too confident on the strap for this hood on the rear and then the gas tank. I think we're gonna have to maybe cut those bolts. So let's go to the other side. I think it's time for PV blast. Yeah, my hands are already darn cold. It don't take long. I'm not even sure if the bolt is turning or... Or the nut, I mean. Oh, the whole thing's turning, okay. This thing's so rusty, it's just stripping the threads out. Huh. Yeah, this is a whole different animal doing these old ones. I might have to cut that as well. Whole different kind of rust, I think. Get enough bend out of the steering shaft just to get this hood bolt out. Man, my hands are cold. I'm gonna have to take a break and warm up, okay guys? Alright guys, back with you here. Wrenches. Maybe we can get this hood out. I forgot that somebody put a brace on here of some kind. Pretty sure that's gonna snap. Yeah, everything is quite rusty on here. So we'll see how far we can get. Even with this gas tank strap off, I don't know if we'll get the hood off because it's got to come up over the manifold, which means it's either the steering shaft that has to come off first, or the manifold would have to come off first. And right now, this gas tank strap does not want to come off. So try getting this Magneto off just to see if we can get that off. A very different, all it is 4 bolts that hold it in on the bottom. It's a base mount Magneto, so 4 bolts hold it in. It's the F4 Magneto, and then this one has a sleeve around the coupling. There's a small fiber disc inside there. Whoop. I'm guessing this is a drive disc, so it's got slots on one side and slots and a recession on the other for the nut on the front of the Magneto drive coupling inside here. So does not feel like the impulse is working, so that will be one cast again. to do the best I can here. Let's see what we got for that spark plug's got quite a bit of rust on it. You can see it. Not a good sign on that one. But the only real way we'll know is to pull the head off and look at the cylinders and see what's going on inside. But that may be a task for a warmer day. This one is also pretty rusty. That's 2 and 3. Get a deep well, standard, not an impact socket, but standard socket. Now this one's pretty darn rusty as well. That's number 1. It's also broken. Oof. And that's number 4. So not looking too promising. But that's kind of how it goes when we're dealing with this old stuff, you know. We'll know for sure when we open it up on the inside and see what's going on. So let me pause the camera. I'm going to try to figure out what I'm going to do here to get this hood off, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, well, we made a little progress. So here's what I had to do. I had to unbolt the carb from the manifold and then turn the carburetor down, and then I unbolted the manifold. Luckily none of the studs broke, so that's good. And then when I got the manifold unbolted, I slid the hood and manifold over as a whole unit until the manifold dropped off of the studs. Then I dropped the manifold out the bottom of the hood, and then I was able to get the hood out the other side. So that's how I did that. The carburetor is off and is in pretty rough shape on the inside. So here's a view inside the throttle shaft. Let me see if I can get a better shot inside the throttle shaft area. The top side of the carburetor looks pretty decent. It's not, you know, all rusted and nasty looking, so that's a good sign. But we'll know when we tear into it what it's going to look like. So we're kind of sitting right here. We did have to, in order to get the the hood and gas tank strap off. We did have to cut that bolt. Actually, it just snapped, but we did have to do that. But yeah, we're making a little progress anyway. It's not, and throttle does move the governor to carb linkage, so that's good. That's working. But I think the next step would be to disconnect the top radiator hose and try to unbolt the fan assembly, and then from there we open up the valve cover and valve train and see what we're looking at on the inside of that, and pull the head. So I think the temperature's gone up a little bit here, so that's a positive, but it is still cold out, let me tell you. And there was quite a bit of rust flakes in the exhaust ports, so that kind of has me concerned, but I think it was more carbon than rust, so I'm hoping anyways. But let's keep going. I'll take this top radiator hose off. I'll take the fan mount off. That's just 3 bolts here, one here, and then one on the bottom on the other side. So we'll see what happens with that. So just gonna put the exhaust manifold nuts and bolts back on here real quick. Or nuts and the stud. Yeah, sure is rusty though, I'll tell you. Sure is rusty. But really, I mean, aside from breaking a few small bolts, it's coming together pretty decent, or coming apart pretty decently. Nothing real major is going on, so let's see here. And I would guess this thing's probably been run in the last 20 to 30 years, maybe. I don't know. These hose clamps and these hoses on the top and bottom are fairly new, so I mean they're still shiny, so I do know from what I've read and seen online that the top tank to upper water pipe connection is very close. There's a very small spacing in there. So let me turn the camera down a little bit. Let's pull this valve cover off and see what we're looking at there. Somebody way over tightened this valve cover too in the past. Probably shouldn't have done that without putting my nut in the tray. That air compressor would sure come in handy. Oh, okay. I guess I gotta take these out. These oil cups. That makes sense. Do that before we wreck something here. This is kind of, like I said, this is kind of a learning process for me, so I think these are oiling cups. Maybe they're priming cups. They must be priming cups. Put gas in here and then prime your cylinders, I suppose. It's kind of neat. Makes sense. Yeah, I believe these are my oiling cups. So these must be my priming cups for the cylinders. Well, we got one stuck valve for sure. See if I can get any of these other valves to move. That one moves. That one moves. Those don't move. That one moves. That one doesn't move. And that one does not move. So we've got a number of stuck valves. So those will need attention. Just kind of seeing where to go from here. I believe those oiling cups, you oil these troughs, and these felts that are in here absorb oil and allow it to drip down onto the rockers instead of having an oiled rocker system, you know, an oil line that runs to your rocker system. It's these troughs that stay full with oil and slowly leach down onto the valve train. So it's kind of a neat a neat thing. Oh, there's a little bit bigger socket, 5/8. I better take a picture of this here with my phone. There's some spacers and stuff in here that I think probably a good idea I get my phone and take a picture. Let me pause the camera and we'll take a few pictures and go from there. Alright? Well guys, as you can see, we have a cylinder head on the ground, which means we have an open engine. Alright guys, I apologize for that. My camera died due to the cold temperatures, but this is the carburetor and it's in very okay shape. The inside is rusty. The Magneto I pulled off, and it turns out it does have a good impulse. This is just a photo of the engine during the teardown. This is a photo of the cylinders. I believe it's 3 and 4. These are cylinders 1 and 2. Cylinder 1 is in pretty decent shape. Cylinder 2, same thing. I think I'm going to just hone the cylinders and drive the pistons out the bottom. This is cylinder 3. And cylinder 4 is probably the worst of all, but it's still not too bad. And a photo of the engine with the head removed. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it was cut short.